Exodus 40. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, on the first day of the first month, you are to set up the tabernacle, the tent of meeting. You are to place the ark of the testimony in it and shield the ark with the special curtain. You are to bring in the table and set out the things that belong on it. You are to bring in the lampstand and to set up the lamps. You are to put the gold altar for incense in front of the ark of the testimony and put the curtain at the entrance of the tabernacle. So again, we're having one more. Let's go through all of those lists of everything again, but also the first day of the first month. Okay, when is the work of the ark completed? We've gone a couple of months into the to get to Sinai. We're at Sinai a couple of months. Now we have the work that's being done. Did the work get done and they're approaching having been at Mount Sinai for a year, or are they at Mount Sinai for almost 2 years? I'm trying to remember. I don't remember, but I'm just trying to point out when we were before we started the work. Okay. You are to put the gold altar for the incense in front of the Ark of the Testimony and put the curtain at the entrance of the tabernacle. You are to put the altar for the burnt offering in front of the entrance of the tabernacle, the tent of meeting. You are to put the large basin between the tent of meeting and the altar and put water in it. You are to set up the courtyard around it and put the curtain at the gate of the courtyard and take the anointing oil and anoint the tabernacle and all that is in it and sanctify it and all its furnishings, and it will be holy. Then you are to anoint the altar for the burnt offerings with all its utensils. You are to sanctify the altar, and it will be most holy. You must also anoint the large basin and its pedestals, and you are to sanctify it. So we're getting you're supposed to set things up and you're supposed to set them apart as holy. We're not getting the instructions on how. We already had the instructions on how. Maybe we'll get and they did it, and we'll get the instructions later, or we'll get the process that they're doing. But they're to set everything up in the proper place, and they're to set them apart as holy. You are to bring Aaron and his sons to the entrance of the tent of meeting and wash them with water. You are to clothe Aaron with the holy garments and anoint him and sanctify him so that he may minister as my priest. Now, it's interesting. You are to clothe Aaron with the garments. Is Aaron incapable of doing this himself? Or is there something in the design that requires the priest to be dressed by someone else? I can't tell from the description of the making of the garments, but I wonder if you would have needed the necessity of an attendant to help you get dressed. I think that's probably what is in play here, but also Moses is going to set apart the garments here. So Moses is the one who at this point can handle all the garments until Aaron and his sons are anointed to minister as priests. So that might be part of it, to keep them able to be used and cleansed. They're already in a clean state. You are to bring his sons and clothe them with tunics and anoint them just as you anoint their father, so that they may minister as priests. Their anointing will make them a priesthood that will continue throughout their generations. This is what Moses did. According to all the Lord had commanded him, so he did. So Moses is doing all the things he has commanded. He's now dressing Aaron. He's dressing the priest. He's anointing them. So the tabernacle was set up on the first day of the first month in the second year. When Moses set up the tabernacle and put its bases in place, he set up its frames, attached its bars, set up its post. Then he spread the tent over the tabernacle and put the covering of the tent over it, as the Lord had commanded. So I mentioned previously, Bezalel had done all these. Bezalel had made all of these. Here we have the Moses did all these things. Moses set up all these things. I do not think that we need to take that literally, that Moses is the one doing all of the work. Certainly Moses is overseeing it. He took the testimony and put it in the ark, attached the poles to the ark, and then put the atonement lid on the ark. And he brought the ark into the tabernacle, hung the protecting curtain, and shielded the ark of the testimony from view, just as the Lord had commanded Moses. And Moses put the table of the tent of meeting on the north side of the tabernacle, outside the curtain, And he set the bread in order on it before the Lord, just as the Lord had commanded him. And he put the lampstand in the tent of meeting opposite the table on the south side of the tabernacle. Then he set up the lamps before the Lord, just as the Lord commanded him. And he put the gold altar in the tent of meeting in front of the curtain, and he burned fragrant incense on it, just as the Lord commanded him. So what we're getting here is that Moses is doing the things that are necessary, and it's just as the Lord commanded him, just as the Lord commanded him. Moses is doing things precisely as instructed. Then Moses put the curtain at the entrance of the tabernacle. He also put the altar for the burnt offering by the entrance of the tabernacle, the tent of meeting and the offering on it, the burnt offering and the meal offering, just as the Lord commanded him. So we're getting the thing, and like that's the crescendo, that's the resonating thing that you'll hear as we keep reading it. Then he put the large basin between the tent of meeting and the altar and put water in it for washing. Moses and Aaron and his sons would wash their hands and their feet from it. Whenever they entered the tent of meeting and whenever they approached the altar, they would wash just as the Lord commanded Moses. What's interesting is Moses is also washing, not just the priest, not just Aaron and his sons, but Moses also. And he set up the courtyard around the tabernacle and the altar and put the curtain at the gate of the courtyard. So Moses finished the work. It's all completed. Then the cloud covered the tent of meeting, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. Moses was not able to enter the tent of meeting because the cloud settled on it, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. That's a fascinating thought, that Moses can't enter because this cloud has entered it and has totally filled the space. So this is we have the image of the presence of God coming to the place. We have the pillar of fire and the pillar of smoke that go before. We had the golden calf, and God said he was going to leave. He was going to take his presence away from the people, because if his presence was there, he might end up killing them. And Moses pleads, no, let's not have your presence go away from us. If you don't go with us, I won't go. And so God said, okay, to Moses, and said, I will go with you. This is God now establishing he is going with them. They have built the tabernacle. He is going to reside or come and dwell in the tabernacle, make his presence known there. But when the cloud was lifted up from the tabernacle, the Israelites would set out on all their journey. So the tabernacle, so how do you know when it's time to leave? When the cloud moves. But if the cloud was not lifted, they would not journey further until the day it was lifted up. For the cloud of the Lord was on the tabernacle by day, but fire would be on it at night in plain view of the house of Israel throughout all their generation. So the pillar is leading them until they build the tabernacle, and then it's dwelling in the tabernacle, but then it still leads them. So it resides there. When it leaves the tabernacle, they know it's time to leave. Moses made all of these things. He did them in the right way. He had these skilled people do all of this. It was completed. They do the setting apart of the temple, of all of that. God dwells with them and leads them. And now we're done. We are done with Exodus. We've completed that. So we don't get the consecration here of Aaron and his sons in Exodus. So Exodus starts from the birth of Moses. It goes through the Exodus. It goes through the going to Mount Sinai, and it goes to the building of the tabernacle. It ends at the completion and dedication of the tabernacle. That's where Exodus is complete.